Hello.
Friday. So it's super good to see everyone. This is Creative Mornings. I see a lot of familiar faces and also some new ones. So I know it's been, February 2020, we had our last Creative Mornings talk. And actually, Geraldine was our speaker during that. She wasn't expecting the shout out, but I'm super, super happy that after, I don't know, several virtual events, we're finally able to have a safe gathering in person. So I'm really thankful for all of you for being here, and I'm really excited. So if you don't know what Creative Mornings is, it's a global thing. So there are 223 chapters around the world outside of Lausanne, in 67 countries with over 27,000 attendees a month, 9,500 talks online, and we have a lot of video views. So thank you to our partner MailChimp, who is our global marketing partner. They're really great for emailing if you haven't used them before. And also thank you to our global online sponsor for learning, Skillshare. And Skillshare recently just launched something really cool for teams where you can organize kind of, Skillshare for teams as like a team building activity. So we're Creative Mornings Lausanne. For those of you who have been here, you might notice a lot of my team is actually not able to be here. I'm the host, I'm Sophie. Marta was the original host and co-organizer at the moment. She wasn't able to make it here today, but she was helping a lot in the background with the newsletter and all the posts. Alia, our local partnership, so she's the one who arranged these amazing cookies and the partnership with the cookies for us. She's at the moment going on adventures soon to South America to discover the world of coffee, so really excited for her, but she's also not able to make it here today. We have Will, who's our videographer, who also was not expecting to see his face so big on the slide, but he joined our team during the pandemic and helped us with all the editing of the videos that we did virtually, so really thankful to have him with us and in person. It's his first in-person event, so today. And then, of course, my three volunteers for today. So we have Rocio, who you saw out and about. She's also been a big part of the community. Tom, who is signing you in, so hopefully you didn't miss him because you should have gone through him. And Laura, who is here and helped me with all the setup of the cookies and a lot of different things. So the theme of this month is design, and each month, each Creative Mornings chapter, we take turns kind of choosing a theme for each month. So all around the world this month, everyone's having a talk on design. And this was chosen by the Trois Gouvier chapter and illustrated by Olivier Charlon. So when I heard the theme was design, I immediately was very excited and had a person in mind. And this beautiful place we are here today is Co-Spire Co-working Space. It's one of my favorite co-working spaces here in Lausanne. If you haven't met Jeanne, I don't know if she's right there. If you have any questions after, please contact her. They're doing a lot of really cool events on the weekend. At the same time, it's a really awesome place to work. They have these little bubbles and huddles, so it's more quiet. They have another space in the back if you want to look later. That's more of an open co-working space, and even this like little workshop atelier. So talk to Jeanne if you have any questions after, because you can even try it out, I think, for a day or so, and then commit to more of a subscription plan. And then also, thank you to Cookie and C. They're not here today, but hopefully you got to try some of their cookies. All of them are gluten-free, which is amazing. I'm not gluten-free myself, but I think I have the perception that sometimes they might not taste as good, and I thought these cookies were fantastic. So they always have these values of inclusivity, honesty, transparency with their ingredients, and I'm super happy that they were able to provide breakfast for us today. And without further ado, I'd like to introduce Laure Gremion. So Laure actually was she was coming to Creative Mornings very much in the beginning. I always heard about her very cool projects on product design, and she was the first person that came to mind when I heard the theme design. So thank you so much, Laure. And,
thank you.
The floor is yours.
Yeah, thanks. Hello, everybody. And thank you, Sophie, for inviting me. Thank you, Creative Mornings, the team. I've been here coming to Creative Mornings from the beginning in Lausanne, and I really loved it all the time. And so it's a big honor to present today for me. And it's also really cool that we get to be in person again. And because it's also very nice to gather and meet people, and so that's what I also love about Creative Mornings. And but what I'm a bit more stressed about is that I'm talking today, so, so it's probably so that's the only thing. But yeah, I hope you're gonna find it interesting, and if you have some questions or anything around, so during the talk, don't hesitate to ask. So yeah, this is me. So somebody told me like I'm not. I don't look like the picture. I don't know. But so I don't know. But yeah, so that's me. So I'm Laure Gremion, and yes, so I'm product designer, and I founded my own studio in 2017. So it's been 4.5 years that I work independently. And I also share a workspace with other people since the beginning of my activity in Hyperespace in Renan. So it's a similar place like here, but a bit different, the adjustment or things. But I really love the energy and the people that I work with. And I think, yeah, it's probably also the same here. So that's a bit about my resume. So that's a bit what I've done, my background. So I've studied at ECAL. I don't know if you know, it's a design and art school in Lausanne. And so I've graduated in 2012, so almost 10 years ago. And I've been also studying in the Design Academy in Eindhoven for Erasmus semester. And that was like when I came back, and then I've done like some other professional experiences by design studios. Atelier, I don't know if you know, it's a very cool studio that is located in La Neuville. Yeah, a bit more like between Neuchâtel and Bienne. And yeah, and Hector Serrano Studio, which is located in Valencia in Spain, which I really love Spain also. And so that was a good way to practice my Spanish too. And then I've also worked at Unisto, which is a company located in St. Gallen. And that I practiced my Swiss German also with them. And so that was like also a very much industrial way of design, which is because I was working for a jewelry and watch industry in the packaging, and so there was like more thousands of pieces produced in China, so very much different from Atelier and Hector Serrano studio. And so I quit the job in 2016 to go to residency in Shanghai, which I spent like 5 months, and it was amazing. So it was a good opportunity to have a break before I started my own studio in 2017. Yep. Yeah. So today we are here to talk about design. So yeah, what is actually design? Design is like so many things, so it's hard to tackle it in a good way. So I hope I'm gonna do it in a good way. So yeah, if we talk about design, then we think about a lot of things: graphic design, interior design, yeah, product design maybe. I don't know, like, but I think what I can best talk about is maybe product design, industrial design, which is my specialty, and I think I would not be the best person to talk about service design, for example. So yeah, actually already industrial design and product design, it's sometimes not very clear what it is. I don't know if all of you know what it is, because for me, like when I started studying industrial design, yeah, before I started, like I didn't really know what it was. Like it was very abstract in a way, because when I talk, like I'm an industrial designer. Like people think I'm designing machines for the industry or something, and that it looks very industrial in a way. And product design, it's also like not very, a bit confusing also, because like some developers, they call themselves also product designers, which is a bit like, okay. Yeah, so it's sometimes quite difficult to define what I do in good words. So I hope to maybe find a better solution today to talk about what I do. So that's a bit a definition of industrial design that I found on the internet, and that I think is not very complete, like the process of designing the shape, feature, or etc. of manufactured product, which is an aspect, I think, but it has like many more aspects to it, which I think are lacking in this definition. For example, because in product design we have a lot of different things that we have to tackle, which is also the production of the products, the production process, material shipment. Yeah, it has to be light to be shipped, also flat pack, we say. It has to be a functional object. Yeah, using innovation, user experience is also very important. How the people are going to use it afterwards, and that it should be easy to understand also. And of course, the market and sustainability. Yeah, that's also very important points that we have to keep in mind. All this while we design, which is like. Yeah, it's a complex thing. And here it's more about the process of designing, the process that I have, and I think that's a kind of more main thing. That's like research, then research to concept, design. Prototyping is also very important to test the product with making mock-ups and one-to-one scale things with a lot of different materials. The technical development, it's also, we have a very close collaboration with manufacturers. So it could be craftsmen, like for small production. It could be like industrials for plastic injection, for example. And then it's very broad, like there's many different ways to tackle this development, but it's also very interesting because it has a very technical part also, which I really like. And it's more like, yeah, then you learn always new things while being in discussion with those industrials people. And so, of course, the production, which is always, yeah, it's always in product design. It's not meant for just one object, but it's always meant for serial production, which could be like a small one, like a few 50 pieces or something, or it could be like a industrial production, serial production of thousands of pieces. So it depends on the project. So there are like many types of projects and many types of designers also. So there are like designers which are more artists that do like unique pieces or like very small production, or there are like industrial. So it could be possible to do like coffee machines or chairs or like, yeah, I think everything here, lamps are possible to design. So yeah, so here I'm going to talk about my own project and explain this creative process through my work. So maybe it's easier with a concrete example. And concrete, so here it's a project I've done with MFP Préfabrication SA. Actually, it's a company located in Marin, nearby Neuchâtel, and it's a very cool company, I think. And they are working normally with architects more, like they are doing balconies and stairs, so really big things molded in prefabricated concrete. And so what they asked me to do, our first collaboration was in 2018, and that was yeah, for gifts, for business gifts for them. So because they are very generous, they're very nice, and so they give their clients every year 2 times gifts that they make themselves. Like they hired me to do the design, and then they produce all the pieces to give it to their customers, which I think is really kind of special. So yeah, I really enjoy working with them. And so about this, that's like a small parts of the projection I've developed with them. So that's the requirement they had when I started the project. It has to be out of concrete. Less than 2 kilo for one piece, because it has to be sent by post. So it has to be small and less than 2 kilos because otherwise it costs more sending by post. Not fragile anyways, easy to produce. And in an office environment because they're sending that to customers, architects or different. So yeah, it shouldn't be like something cosmetic or I don't know. Business gift, playful and not too expensive. So yeah, that's a bit the collection. It's not like not everything is there, but like it's about the production here. And maybe that's the start. Here you can see the little bird house on the right, and that's the development. Like that's the first step. It depends on every project because some projects I draw more, so some projects I'm doing more 3D work. So that's like more like in 3D stuff because it's easier if you have like those kind of shapes, for example, because I don't draw very well. It's maybe like something that some people think about design that it's always like starting with drawings, but actually not always because we can also produce mock-ups or doing cardboard models or doing things with materials, tryouts first, and I think that's more my way of doing. Or then start already with 3D, which 3D printing, that's something I also quite a lot use. So you can see here that was like the first ideas which came to a form like more classical, but at first I wanted to do like something a bit more with two pieces going together, and I thought it didn't work quite well. So yeah, then I think the functional part was more like this parts. So here, that was like the first prototypes we've done in 3D printing. And so you can see on the right, that was the first one, and it was too small, then all the seeds, they couldn't go through it. So that was like something that you have to test and see, because on the program it's always, it looks very nice and it's always like, it looks like it's working. But then when you, when you do it really, then you notice, okay, no, it's not working. And so that was the tryout also that I did. I took it to the border of the lake in Neuchâtel, and it was very windy, and I put it in a tree, and it was like going from each side, and then I could really test that the seeds were not falling off. That was the idea and the point in that, and so it worked. So that was I was happy about it, and that's another thing. So that's when I'm talking with the manufacturer here. Then we discuss with the drawing always. So we discuss about the dimensions of the thing. So with my program, then I can generate these technical drawings, and we can talk about the dimensions and everything that it has to be. It has to be good and agreed together with the manufacturer. And here, that's more about the production side. So that's how we make the molds and everything, which I find fascinating. It's really cool because it's here we had the prototype made of 3D printing, and then we molded it in silicone. Here you can see all the molds that are made of silicone inside, and then you have the wooden box that holds it together. And so here it's the concrete is poured inside the mold, and then that's how it comes off the mold. That's the little plate that is under the birdhouse. And here it's all sanded then by hand, so every piece is like, there's a lot of manufacture, like hand crafting things with this production, because it's like for the gifts they do like 200 pieces, and so that's like a quite small production, but still it takes a lot of days, because every time you do one thing, then it has to dry for 1 day, and they have like, I don't know, here 10 molds or something of each piece. So yeah, you can imagine how many days then it takes, like, to do the whole production. So here, like so that's how it looks. Then it's separated in 3 parts, which are held just with 1 string. And that's also a bit of the magic of the materials, which I really like. And here it's another project we have done together with this company. Here it's a watering can, and it has like 2 sides. One side you can pour normally, and the other side you can pour like more spray your plants. And that was like the first drawings of it. Like I tried different shapes, but obviously it was not really working like visually. And then then I came to this shape, and then we tested all the small holes. Like we had to put them down with clay, and then we opened some of them, and it was like it also has to be tried that it works. And so, for example, this configuration didn't work, and so here it's about the production of this watering can. Here you can see that's the top part, which is this, like this. And it doesn't look like very nice on this, but then it's when you mold it, like it's on the right, you can see all the small squares. Actually, it's this then, and that's how it looks, a bit like surgery. I think I really like this photo, and so that's it looks very dramatic, I think. And that's concrete mixing. So that's a special concrete they use. It's a high density concrete, and so it's white first, and they mix it with oxides, and then it becomes like the color you want. And here it's like with a red pigment, and then here you can see the molding. It's also in a silicone form that is in wood, and so it has then to dry for 24 hours. And here it's another project we have done together. It's a bookend, and that was the first project we did together. So with the whole thing, it was very compact also for shipment. That was the thing, and also it's done in 2 parts that are the same. So it's also very easy to produce, because then you have just 1 mold for all the pieces, and so that was actually the easiest one we've done together. But now we have done, I think, 8 projects together, and now it's becoming like every time more complicated. so because they're like always, it's working well. So this time we tried the next Christmas is gonna be it's it's super complicated. So yeah, it was easy at first, like they were very happy, and now it's like but yeah, now we are. I think now it's under control, but it was a bit complicated. So here it's the molds that are forming the stairs. I also like them very much because they're all done with wood. So yeah, and it has like this kind of lacquer inside, so it doesn't glue to the wall here. So that's another project. It's a cocktail glass that I've done also for QG. Yeah, that's an art center in La Chaux-de-Fonds that has, it's museum, art museum, and they organized a project that was last year, actually last summer, and they invited 8 designers to do like more, it's kind of artistic project also. We were asked to do something with a cook that had a whole menu designed for an event, and then all the 8 of us, like we had to choose or to we were attributed like one of the parts of the meal and 1 material, and that was like we had craft people there with materials. So we had wood, blown glass, metal, 3D printed metal, all kinds of porcelain, all kinds of materials, and all kinds of. We had the dessert and and the whole menu. And so we had to choose one of these. And also here there was a special thing. It was the welcome cocktail made by Jägermeister. And so they came a bit later, and so I had to do the one for them, and it was really interesting. Because Jägermeister, they have like this bottle. You probably know it's all green and very masculine in a way. They absolutely wanted a deer on the glass, which I found a bit like, okay, yeah. And so that was like for this event. So it was made for a production of. We had to make 55 glasses. Hand blown, so with a company also in Interlaken. There were 2 hand blowers, very nice, very cool. So if you want to, it's fascinating also hand blowing. And so a bit more like unique pieces, and 3 deciliter, that was a bit the thing. But it also has to had the Jägermeister style, because it was also for them. So I started, so that's what I did. Actually, it's a cocktail glass made of 2 parts. And here you can see those 2 are very different in a way, because it's made here in a wooden mold on the bottom part. So this suckle, like it's made of burnt wood. Actually, when you blow the glass inside the mold, then you will burn it, and then you have the structure, the wooden structure on the glass, which is, I think, very nice, and that makes every glass also unique. And here the colors from the Jägermeister, and here you can see there's a little deer on it. So that I engraved with a laser. And yeah, here that was a bit the drawings that I've done. You can see I'm not very good at drawing. And so that was a bit the idea, that you would have this suckle and then a bubble of glass, and then it would be like those 2 would be connected, like put inside each other, and then you would have like a very different types, but always with the colors and the same thing, but a bit different, like each one. And so that's the process of how it's done. So here the wooden mold, you can see it. I've done these molds. I've done like 10 of them. Like they have like a little charnier, and you can open it like this, and then close it so that he's holding the mold. And then he does like a bubble with the glass, and it's put inside the box, and then they blow inside it, and then it makes like this little square here that you can see with the structure of the wood. And here, then they would be like the 2 of them. They would go together, and one will take the square apart, and the other one the bubble, and they would just connect like all together. And then you can see like it's going really inside, and it's only the burn of the melted glass that makes the connection of those parts. And here, and then it's open like this. You can see like they cut it, and then they would work it by just turning this part. So here it's a bit more about the production of this. There was like those 3 colors, and you can see all of them are a bit different. Here it was with golden leaf inside, and here you can see it has also a deer on it. And here we had to engrave all of them with a museum stamp and our name. And so that was like here a bit of the production. And that was the event at the end. Some photos of the museum. It was, I think, very nice. They had this scenography with those tables, and then we had that's the other designers, what they also have done. Like you can see here, it's that was for the dessert. It's also hand-blown glass, and this was like a cocktail for kind of ice cream. And then you had, this one was very nice also from Caroline Nieblik, who made a ceramic thing with stones from the river, and then it's really cool. So if you want to see her project on the internet, like yeah, the ceramist like made the stones on the floor, and then it has like a kind of boy or something. Then you would put it on it, and then he just walks on it and press it, and then you have the shape of this ceramic with the stones. And I think it's very very interesting. And yeah, so here another project. It's a Celeste lamp that I've done. It was my first project as a independent designer, and it was also very nice because I had a lot of time at this that's not like now, which I could really try everything I wanted, and this was very nice. So actually it was made for Neuve Gallery, which is a gallery in Carouge, and she was doing an exhibition in Milan and inviting designers to make a project about the new ready-made. So ready-made is also a very classical thing of art and design, which was the idea of taking something that already exists to make something else out of it. And here, so that was what I've done. So that's the exhibition in Milan, and so that's the lamps here you can see. So that was like the constraint we had. So it was not a lot. You can see it was a very artistic project, which I really liked also. Here, that's what I've done. So it's actually I took the LED strips that are like very standard, very cheap material, and I kind of had it like I don't know, like more like weaving or something, and then I did like a 3D print all the clips here you can see, and so it makes like it's twisted actually, so it makes like this movement, and then you can see it really makes tension in the thing, so that makes like here you can see when it's flat, and here it's like tensed. So actually, it makes so it makes a movement like this. You can see here when I'm building it, it really makes this curve. It's only done with the material, and so here it's like when I'm building it. I was building it in my atelier also. So that's in Libre Espace in Renan, and so I was doing really. I didn't do any sketches or so with the thing. It was only about yeah, testing the material and building things, and so I had a lot of fun with this. Here, yeah, I took a lot of space in the co-working, like it was only doing that, and here that's the final product, how it looks. So there are different configurations, and actually the idea is that it's something that yeah, makes LED strips more beautiful than they are, like a bit more precious, and also it reminds us a bit of this ancient chandeliers that have this kind of crystals. So with the little points of the LED, which I think is also quite nice, and also it's very light because it only has this thing. So actually, the whole thing is like just 1 kilo or something, maybe less than that. And yeah, that's my workshop, also with the lamp, which has been hanging there since 3 years now, 4 years. And here, yeah, that's for the art center here that I talked about, the same exhibition. I've done another project, which is a cheese platter. So, and that's made with craftsmen also in Saint-Blaise, nearby Neuchâtel, and they are doing woodwork. And they have a very amazing CNC machine, 5-axis CNC, which can go in all directions. So it's a very cool machine that you can send a 3D file, and then it would build everything that you need. So that's quite amazing. And here, that was the constraint about this thing, that it was for this museum restaurant, and out of wood, cheese platter, limited edition, and of course it has to be done with this company. And here it's a bit about the first sketches that I've done. You can see my drawing, it's not very nice. And then, then I've done like the 3D, because I wanted to have like a shape that was a bit natural and that would look a bit complex, and use this 5-axis possibility, like to do something very, very organic out of wood. And also have a cheese platter that doesn't have any center. That was also the idea. And then I developed like this shape by constructing it in 3D. And this was quite a challenge also, because it was like very wavy and going in all the directions. And also I made so some 3D prints you can see here to test the shape. And so that's the 5-axis CNC machine, which you can see goes in this direction. So it can go under the plate, and this is like very special. And here you can see also like that's more than one, just the platters all together. And actually, it's the idea that you can also take it, that there's a handle on it, so you can put serve it on the table with this handle, and it's also nice. And here you can see that's the texture of the CNC CNC mill. Yeah. And yeah. Here there are some other projects I've done. Here it's like made with ceramic and paper. It was for a company Yemonja who's doing cosmetic, and this was very. They wanted something natural and sustainable, and so that's why I went with ceramic and paper. And it's all done with a local ceramist in Geneva. And yeah, so that's now in some shops, in some pharmacies, and this, yeah. And those are the other projects that I've done. I'm going to go quickly. You can still have, yeah, and a mask for the coronavirus. And so now we get back to industrial design, product design. So what it means to me, and I think what is very important is that it's a very versatile work, and it has like a lot of, you can experiment a lot of materials, a lot of different clients, different kind of production, and learn a lot of things, and that's why I really love what I'm doing. And so I'm trying to make another definition of what I think is design. For me, it's like functionality, which is very important, sustainability, and also fun. And so it's a way to make objects that are yeah, either helping us to have a better life, or like painless life, or just make it more exciting. So yeah, that's it. And so we can connect on social media if you want. I would be happy to have also answer your questions, and if you want to connect, I'm happy. Yeah. Thank you.
Thanks, Laure. So now we have some time for questions. I also know if some of you have to leave for work, feel free to like duck out if you need to. I know it's Friday morning. But does anyone have any questions for Laure?
Yeah.
When you do like a project like you showed us, does it take months or like weeks or years to put on?
Yeah, it depends on the projects. Like there are many different types of projects. Like you can see maybe the concrete ones. For example, we started in June to get something for Christmas. for example. So that's like 6-month project. But it depends. Like sometimes now I'm working on a project that use injection molding. That's normally would take like a year of development, but they are very stressed. So and they want something very quickly. And so we have started in July, and we should start a production next month. So that's like very short and very stressful. And otherwise, yeah, it really depends on the projects, but I would say a few months at least. Yeah. Yeah.
What's your favourite part? Like from all the steps that you've told us, and you had your mind map.
Yeah.
Which for you is like the most exciting?
I think the production is what I really like to do, and I really like to exchange also with collaborate with the manufacturers and try the materials, and that's really this material contact that I really like, and not really the drawing part. And so that's so yeah. I really enjoy being in contact with the manufacturer and learning some things from them, also how the tolerances and all this technical stuff. So that's yeah. Yeah.
So when you say technical, you mean like if things works, you find it out when you do the prototype, or do you do some, I don't know, calculations in advance, or are the people you produce with that do the calculations, or?
Yeah, it depends. Actually, when it depends on the material, depends on the project. When I do like projects that are maybe easier or something, then I can find out myself by doing a prototype and so. But like for example, now with this project with injection molding, it's much more complicated, and then it has much more impact on the high production rate. So then we doing it with engineers from the factory that are producing the pieces, and they have like mold flow simulation that they can also experience the whole thing, see where it could break and when it would break, and so they can calculate it with a program, and then so obviously we are also doing prototypes, but that's also like something very important when you're doing like this kind of so big production. Yeah. Yes?
Yeah, so I think we all know that creativity can't be forced. So like, what are some ways that you find your creativity, your inspiration?
Yeah, that's a tricky question, because it's sometimes, you have some days where you can be the whole day and just like nothing comes, and it's just wasted for nothing. And that happened a lot with this project that was very, very stressful, and it was like they wanted something like for next week, and it was like, no, now I'm not finding the idea, and I was okay. And sometimes it's good for me to take a break and just like do something else and go back to the project and everything. But I think where I find my inspiration more is in the materials and trying the things myself and testing the things. So with my hands. Yes, that's you.
About the project you talked, the cocktail glass,
Yep.
Jagermeister, I had a question that the client wanted to have the deer on the glass. So how do you deal with those situations where the clients want to have something that you maybe don't feel really comfortable with?
Yeah.
Or it's like, or sometimes you try to convince the client to change to another direction, or how do you deal with that?
Yeah, it's difficult because it's the client also. He's the one who is paying, so it's not that I can say, oh no. So yeah, it's and also who's like who at the end will communicate about the project, and so it's important that the wishes from the clients are respected. And I think sometimes it's also good, but I try always to accomplish the wishes of the client, but then to try to do it in my way that I like it. Yeah, for example, for Jägermeister, I try to do it more discreet, like with this engraving, which I think at the end I would prefer it without, but at the end it's a bit discreet, and it's not like so present. So I think it's okay. So so it's a good compromise. Yes. you had a question?
What's your favorite material to work with?
No. Yeah, I don't have one actually. I love all the materials, and yeah, I really enjoyed hand blowing glass. Like this was the first project I've done with glass, and this was really super interesting because it's like it's fascinating, and the fire, and so this is like, yeah, because it burns, like the mold is like like it's a huge fire, and it's really impressive. So that's something I really liked, but. Actually, I really love to experiment different materials, so it's not that I have maybe one favorite or something. I love to discover new things. Yeah. You?
Yeah. How does your approach to the brief changes when it's a limited edition? Like.
Yeah. Yeah, it changes a lot because then you can maybe, yeah, for the glasses, for example, it was like it was making every piece unique, which is very different from serial production where you have to make every piece really much the same. And so that's a very different approach actually. It's more like more artistic, than maybe you're have more, like maybe the mistakes can be nice. And so that's not the same with the serial production where all the mistakes are not really welcome. So, yes?
When you propose designs, do you propose several propositions, like you have 3 of them and you say like, all right, you can choose between those 3, or do you go with one proposition and you say,
yeah, ta-da! I want to do this one. No, yeah, normally I come with more proposition. It depends on the on the project, on the time we have, because sometimes it's very quick and it's like okay, yeah, then I don't have the time for making like a lot of proposition. But normally I come at least with 2 different ideas which are very different. But maybe for the concrete company, as an example, when I came, the first meeting, I had a PDF with 27 ideas, and that was like, because I was like very motivated, and I was like, yeah, that was kind of my first. So the first time I went with the client, and I was like, whoa, that's super excited, and I came with 27 ideas, and now we are still picking up from these ideas, like to do the new project, which is actually quite nice because then it's less stressful, and it's also like I can come back from a starting idea. So, yeah. So thank you. Any more questions? Yeah.
You made all these projects for different clients, but do you have anything for sale, actually?
Yes. Yeah. Actually, the whole concrete collection is for sale. It's for sale in different shops in Normandy. Yeah, one in each city almost. There's a shop in Lausanne in JSB Gestar. It's in La Riponne, and they also sell some of the stuff. Actually, the lamp, I'm producing new ones now again. I'm making another serial production, which will be a bit more accessible than the last one, I hope. And yeah, otherwise, yeah, I have the things that I've done for shops or for windows. They're also displayed in the windows, and now I can't remember anything. But yeah. Yeah, I have a few things on for sale. Oh yeah, of course, like the glass and the a cheese plate also are for sale. Yeah. Yeah. Yes.
But I have the same question as the girl that asked the materials question. I feel like it's amazing you work with so many different materials. Do you have to learn each time you're working with something new, like concrete, wood, glass? And then
yes.
How in the world do you like plan, your projects, the timing, the creativity it takes to do them?
Yeah, actually, I'm a bit workaholic, so it's really not really good. But no, actually, I have a basic, because all the time, like the materials I know, so I have basic knowledge on on a lot of materials already. But it's always when you're starting a new project with a new customer and a new material and a new production line, then you always learn things. And but I think that's the most interesting part of my work. So it's learning new materials and new way of producing, but the process is always a bit similar. So it's not that I'm starting from all fresh. It's I learn always some things, but I can always relate to the things I've learned previously. So it's not so new. Yes. Yes?
Do you work on some personal projects? And if yes, do you approach it differently than if it's a client project, or do you have the same process?
Yes, actually, I worked on a lot of some personal projects. For example, the lamp. It's more like a personal project. It was done for a gallery for something, but it was very free, so it was kind of more personal thing. But actually, now I quite have a lot of different works for clients, so it's difficult to find time to do something personal, and I think it's a bit sad. but then it's also like with personal projects it's tricky because it's difficult to have a deadline, and then I think I find it always that it goes a bit behind all the other stuff, and it's quite difficult to concentrate on it and doing it. Like for example, the lamp, it's been like now 2 years that I have been starting this production, and it's always going a bit behind because I have other priorities, and it's quite sad that I don't find the time to do it. And now I really have to for the end of this year, because I have an orders that I have to fulfill also. But yeah, it's difficult to find the time for a personal project. And, yeah, but I hope I will more in the future. Yeah. Any more questions? Yeah. Okay.
I remember if you said something about it, but what made you study both from? What made you do a career in this field? Because you said it was very abstract.
Yes. Yeah.
Before starting studying it?
Yeah.
So why did you start?
Yeah, it's actually I've always wanted to do something creative, and actually I when I was a child I wanted to do fashion design, because it was the thing that we know actually, and product design it was not. I didn't know about it actually, and that's probably why I didn't think about it. But then when I was in high school, then I heard about this product design, and then it started like, oh yeah, and then it would be great. Like I remember drawing some bases and different stuff, and I was like already very excited. And when I started the first ground year, it was very obvious that it was the right path for me. Like I really, for the first time, I was very like I was seeing like I was fitting to somewhere, and it was very encouraging. So yeah, it was pretty obvious that it was the right path. Yeah.
Cool. Well, thank you so much, Laure. I
Yeah.
think you'll be around for a bit now. I think if
Yeah,
people have
yeah.
questions or something, I think it's amazing all the work you showed, and sorry I didn't give you enough time maybe to fully.
No, it's fine, because you can always ask questions or.
Thank you everyone for coming. It's really nice to see everyone in person. It makes me super happy to have real events again in person. So thanks everyone for coming and taking the time out of your Friday morning. And thank you to Laure for
Thank you
great
for the
presentation.
invitation, and thank you for the
Feel free to
questions.
stay and mingle a bit. I think there's still cookies and coffee. And
Yeah, great.
thanks everyone.
Yeah, thank you.